Hello guys, welcome to Automation Studio. This is Praveen this side, and in today's tutorial we are going to cover BDD framework explanation in brief. So in this tutorial we will see what is BDD framework, and because BDD framework is very highly demanding nowadays in the market, and if you will go for the interview, then people can ask you like what is BDD framework and have you worked on it, and if you haven't worked on it, at least you should know about the BDD framework. What is that? So BDD framework is nothing but the behavior driven development which can be achieved with the help of cucumber libraries. So in the BDD framework is also can be achieved with the help of JVM, but the cucumber is more powerful and more easy to implement. So cucumber provide APIs, Java APIs, so that we can by using the cucumber Java APIs we can achieve BDD framework and Selenium or within the Java language itself. So here we are going to see like what are the different components in BDD framework and how does it works. So if interviewer asks you and you should also have to know like how internally it will work. So what are the different components and how they will interact at the time of uh, 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 compiling it and running it, right? So internally how it will work, so we need to understand in brief. Also interview can ask you like please define different components of the BDD with cucumber and how does it interact, like what is the feature file, what is the step definition file, and what is the runner file, and how does it work. Then in that case you have to sketch this diagram and you have to explain them accordingly. So first of all, we have to write or prepare a feature file. Okay, so we will see component wise component. So I have marked this like 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so first component is a feature file. Okay. So first we need to create a feature file. So let's say login.feature. Okay, so the extension of the file will be dot feature. Okay, so as I have mentioned here, dot feature will be the extension of this file. Okay, now within this feature file we have to define our scenarios for a particular feature. Okay, so suppose I have a login feature. So for the login feature I'm going to define one scenario here. Okay, so what feature file will consist? It consists a scenario for a feature. Okay, so we are going to define a scenario in a very simple language. Okay, by using few keywords like feature, scenario, given, when, then, and, but. So these are the keywords which can be understood by jerkin. Okay, so what is jerkin? So jerkin is nothing but it's a so jerkin is a simple, lightweight and simple structural based language. Okay, which is available in more than 30 plus languages, more than 30 plus more languages. Okay, so it's just a simple structure language and a very common or simple uh, defined in the very simple way. It's in a readable format. Okay, so we need to define that. So this is all about the feature file. So how you will define it? So it's generally consist of a scenario which will be in a very simple language, and also we have to use Gherkin keywords. Okay, so they are the list of the Gherkin keywords we need to use, and the extension of this file should be dot feature file. Okay, now let's move to the second thing, which is a step definition file. Okay, so what is a step definition file here? So a step definition file is a .java file first of all. Okay, where we have to provide definition of our scenario with the help of cucumber APIs. Okay, so you are able to see like this is .java file, and we have to give the definition of whatever the scenario we have mentioned here in this file. okay, with the help of cucumber APIs. So let's say, for example, this keyword is given, so this become here at the rate given. So at the rate given will come from the cucumber API. Okay, so we are using here cucumber API in order to explain it. So this is the annotation. It will become an annotation here: at the rate given, at the rate when, at the rate then, at the rate and, something like that. Okay, and within that we need to define our specific step of test what we are trying to achieve. Okay. So within this step definition file, we should have Java because it's a Java file. So obviously we are going to write the Java code here. Cucumber API, what I have just explained you earlier, like we need to use these Gherkin keywords annotation in the form of annotation. We can use it. That's why we are using here Cucumber Java APIs. Okay. Now here we can use also Java code. Oh, sorry, Selenium code. So you can use even Selenium, APM, or even you can use this in order to define your web services automation. So you can use this framework with out of Selenium, APM, or web services. It's not particular for the only for the web automation or mobile automation. You can use it for the web services also. Okay. Now within this file we are going to use assertions also. So from where the assertions will come, obviously we have to use some unit testing framework. So with the Java, the most popular unit testing framework is nowadays is JUnit and TestNG. Okay, so with the help of JUnit or TestNG, we are going to put assertions here. Make sure at a time you should use either JUnit or either TestNG. Okay, because accordingly you have to choose the runner for that. Okay, suppose you have used JUnit assertions, you have to use JUnit runner class in order to run this feature file. Okay, I will come to this later, but at but this point of time just make understand like JUnit or TestNG, you should have to use this for here for assertions. So JUnit and TestNG libraries needed here. Okay, so how many libraries needed is here? We need Cucumber APIs, we need Gherkin, okay, we need Selenium or APM or whatever the web service is if we are going to use it, and then JUnit library and TestNG libraries, right? Okay. Now once you will define this step definition file, okay, then we have to compile it, right? We have to run it. Okay, how do we execute it? So we can execute it with the help of runner class. Okay, so we have to use it with the help of runner class. Okay. So within the JUnit and TestNG, so Cucumber provide Cucumber options which will come up with TestNG as well as JUnit. Okay, so with the help of JUnit and TestNG runner classes, you can achieve like you can run your test cases or your feature file. So how to define that? You have to define, you have to locate your feature file and you have to locate your step definition file. Okay, so you have to add one Cucumber options within the runner class where you have to define where is your feature file. So the tag will be like feature is equal to, and then you have to give the path of your feature file, and then you have to say like glue is equal to, what is a glue means where is your step definition file is sitting in your framework. Okay, so you have to mention the path of this step definition file. Okay, so that's why these two are dependent for the runner class. These two both are the required in order to run the test case, feature file as well as step definition file. Now we have to also understand one point, right? If we are defining a feature class, sorry, feature file, so as many steps we are defining here, those many steps should be steps definition should be available within the step definition class. Okay, it is must, otherwise you will experience errors or at the time of execution of your test cases. Okay, so make sure for a one scenario, if you have used three or five keywords, then the step definition should be provided within the sorry, definition is provided within the step definition file. So make sure about this. Okay, so these two be in the sync. Okay, Well, we will see in details when we are going to implement as a framework in the next session or next tutorials. But as of now, just make sure like these two files should be in sync. So whatever the keywords you have to define here, those step definition in the form of a methods you have to define within this class. Okay, fine. This is the runner class now. So it's also a form in the form of a java.java file. So here we will use Java with Cucumber or TestNG with Cucumber. So it should decide from here. So when you will start writing a step definition file, then you will start using JUnit. Then you have to go for JUnit Cucumber runner class. If you have choose your framework to develop with the TestNG, then you have to use Cucumber with TestNG runner class. Okay, you can't do this like you should not use both of them, and you can't use both of them here. Okay, so for the testng abstract testng class is available, something like that, abstract testng class cucumber class, something like that. And for the JUnit, like JUnit runner class is available there. Okay, okay. So like that you can achieve your BDD framework by using Cucumber Java API and Gherkin jars, by using the Gherkin jars. Okay, so if so now it is very clear like how BDD framework works, how the internal components will work, what is a feature file, what is a step definition file, and what is the runner class. So by defining sketching this diagram and explaining the components one by one, you can impress your interviewer like how BDD framework used to work with a with Cucumber with Java. Okay, so I hope this video will be helpful for you guys, and and it will clear your concept about the BDD framework. And in the next tutorials we will see the implementation of Cucumber framework with Java. Okay, so stay tuned and subscribe my channel, and if you do have any comments, please put in the comment box. I will try to answer your all queries. Okay, so have a nice day and goodbye.